Twins are two offspring produced by the same pregnancy. Twins can be either identical or fraternal. Identical twins have the same blood type and they look extremely similar, but not perfectly due to environmental factors. But do they really share an abnormal telepathic connection? Hundreds of identical twins are born each day. Many articles mention stories of identical twins who had a physical connection. For example, there is a story of identical Angela and Elena. Elena injured her knee after stumbling downstairs, and Angela felt knee pain at the same moment halfway across the world. Despite the fact that this is an interesting story to hear, there is no scientific evidence to prove what happened. To experiment this hypothesis, scientists randomly selected two identical twins. They placed both in different rooms and labeled one as a sender and the other as a receiver. The sender had to pick up one card from many cards, then he had to focus on trying to communicate with the receiver so that the receiver could receive a message and pick an identical card. The experiment showed that when the sender picked the card, the receiver picked the same card 50% of the time. They made a second trial where the research assistant picked the card instead of the receiver. The sender's job was to try to telepath the card to the receiver. However, when the research assistant picked the card, the receiver picked the same card only 25% of the time. The experiment concluded that picking the same card did not depend on the connection between the twins. However, both of them got attracted to the same card 50% of the time. The shape or the color of the card influenced them to pick the same card because they share a lot of commons and have a very close relationship. Since 1993, the use of cell phones has been rising in the United States. A television report linked a woman's brain tumor to her excessive phone usage. So it led the Congress to ask the National Cancer Institute to conduct experiments about this issue. The fact that cell phones gave off radiation from the electromagnetic spectrum, such as radio frequency, made lots of people uncomfortable because, as we know from the past, that X-rays and gamma rays have caused fatal problems. Recently, a couple of scientists did an experiment on lab rats to get a deeper look on this issue and to see if there is any kind of relation whatsoever between phone usage and cancer. They found reasons to believe such a relation might be true. Scientists believe that exposure to electromagnetic frequency waves in phones are the cause of tumors found in male rats which were exposed to phones for a long period of time. Opposing scientists gave their reasons and view on why the experiment is not reliable, and they highlighted the mistakes of the experiment. After further tests, scientists reached a conclusion that not all electromagnetic radiation can cause ionization of atoms, which is what leads to cancer. Only X-rays, gamma rays, and ultraviolet can do this. Radio frequency cannot. While it is possible that heat emission of cell phones may cause cancer, however, phones manufactured in the last decade used low energy transmitter, making the heating effect debate implausible. The results of these trials weren't subject to peer reviewing, making the results highly invalid. Also, the study used 90 rats per group, which is a really small number. The highest number of rats that got cancer in a certain group is 6 out of 90, which is 6.6%. This is a really small percentage.